me into a fever. Now I'm a believer of a love that's deeper. Ooh, the temperature's evil, so I to deceive you. The love isn't equal. Take the key and lock my heart away. Tie me down, but you're in outer space. Down and even if you're tied away. And nothing I could say to make you stay. Nothing I could say to make you stay. Nothing I could say to make you stay. I'm sicker now that I've seen you. Every day that I wake up, you pull me in deeper. Ooh, you made me a prisoner, my soul's gatekeeper, just as grim as a reaper. Take the key and lock my heart away. Tie me down, but you're in outer space. Down and even if you're tied away. And nothing I could say to make you stay. Nothing I could say to make you stay.
We're back now with the Highline Racing League and the highpoint.com Premier Series. This is race number 4 of the 11 race season. The lottery was friendly to us tonight. We're at Daytona. After a snoozer at Talladega, we go to a racetrack that, frankly, is worth a damn with a package that is worth a damn. The ARCA cars. Going to be a lot of fun tonight. Even though this is not bumpy Daytona, it's new Daytona, so it's smooth, it's relatively flat. It still has a little bit of character to it, and we're still going to have a lot of fun with this.
I sure hope so. Here is one of the many green cars in the field. We're going to have to memorize all of them, and he's not even set to qualifying lap. It's Justin Malarkey. He's on the front row. He's gone. But like you said, it's Daytona. It's smooth. It's flat all the way around, but These cars do know how to pass. They struggle with pushing. Struggle is an understatement, but I think we'll see a good race at least.
If there's anything I would disapprove of, it's the lap counter. We have 70 laps on the board. The only good news is that still technically less than what we just ran. So, since we ran 75 at a bigger racetrack earlier on tonight. "40 seconds left here in qualifying before we can set the grid and get us rolling. Austin Bloom, last week's winner, found paint for his race car. It is not a test car anymore, which is very nice to see.
Yeah, it's not the most riveting stuff watching qualifying at Daytona, but there's still quite a bit of technique to it. You got to have a good outlap for one. You can't just be running the bottom on your outlap, and maybe even on your first lap, you might want to be up on the high line as well, getting as much speed as possible built up so you can run and hug the bottom. 5 car isn't going to get to finish this lap, unfortunately. Qualifying's over, and yeah, that's it.
So we have 24 drivers here. Roberto Ramirez is registered, was here, but no longer is here. So I guess that means he's just not running tonight.
He's all raced out.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race. Starting on pole, Dalton Beerer in the 38 with Justin. Second place, Malarkey lining up second. Go figure. Scott McCarris lines up third. Patrick Green will be fourth. Brad Kress, Dylan Wedgwood make up row number 3. Then it's Tyler Rush, Alan Kunman, Austin Bloom, last week's winner, and Trevor Hook, the top 10.
Then in 11th, it'll be Matt Owens alongside Tyler Snyder. They'll make up row 6. Kendall Kerr's 13th, and Dylan Body is 14th. Ryan Potter, Adam Bossy, Andrew Siegel was the last car to actually set a time. And then James McKee, Scott Wheeler Jr., Dylan Poteet, Caleb Morrissey, Andrew Baker, Jeff Morash, Toby Wedgwood, and maybe Roberto Ramirez. Maybe. He's not here, but, he's got a couple seconds.
I'd say doubtful. He's not in the session, so he's likely not going to be starting in this one. And oh my God. Okay, now I have a question. Who fixed Scott Wheeler's roof number? Okay. I know last week we joked about fixing it beforehand. I was curious if that was our doing or if Scott Wheeler Jr. just figured out to put the wrap on the right way this week. Either way, I was kind of looking forward to seeing the number backwards. But alrighty. We've got 24 drivers, 70 laps, no fast repairs. So you crash, you're likely dead with these cars. They are fragile. They're French. They're fragile.
That's that new damage model for you. But staying out of trouble, as it always is at Daytona, will be key. Field of 24 drivers here tonight, so it's not the biggest field we've ever seen at Daytona, but it's not the smallest field either, and plenty of cars in here to wreck. And hopefully we wreck none of them.
All right, how about way too early picks to win the race, Joey?
Who is the guy who I liked at Bristol? Caleb Morrissey.
Caleb Morrissey, who did not do well, and he's starting 21st tonight. You really hate that man, don't you?
No, I'm a big Caleb Morrissey fan. I like the car he's running. I know I'm supposed to be unbiased up here, but I'm a fan of Caleb Morrissey in here, and I think a lot of the fans at home are as well. So we'll see if he can make his way up through the field. But honestly, I think Dalton Beer is in a good position because pole's always good here.
My apologies to Caleb Morrissey if he goes flipping down the back straight away. My pick for tonight, Malarkey. He's got to crack this thing sooner or later. Why not tonight? Remember, you push, you likely die because you push and you pick the rear tires up off the ground. These bumpers don't line up good. If you push in the corners, you will bulldoze the field. Pushing on the straightaway is not ideal. Green flags in the air. We're underway tonight from Daytona in race 4.
already see the 65 of Scott McCarris not getting to the bumper of Dalton Beer. That's going to be one of the keys we're going to watch all night tonight. He literally cannot get to the bumper, and, well, he can, but if he does, he's going to kill everybody on lap 1, so he's not going to.
Down the back straight away, kind of two distinct packs. How about this? We're able to stay side by side. This package doesn't bite. Beerer and Malarkey side by side up off the corner. Beerer going to take the lead off the corner. Bring us down to start finish. He's clear up high, and Dalton Beerer is going to lead the opening lap. Only 69 nice, more to go.
I mean, remarkably, for Daytona, everybody has survived lap 1. Andrew Siegel dropped to the back. He's actually going to lose the draft. So the number 5, we're not going to be seeing anything from him for a while. But that's 23 cars, and everybody made it through. Remarkable. But it is only lap 2, so it'll 65 laps from now. Will people be so tentative?
And Siegel has already caught back up, so he's back in the draft, so he's okay. So all 24 cars are in the pack and well. Beer is going to lead another lap, and we are getting single file for the most part in the back of the field. Still got some double wide action going on here at the front, most notably the 65 of McCarris on the inside, and Justin Malarkey on the outside for second.
I do like that they're at least trying to make the high line work this early on. They're not all going back down into line, but I say that Malarkey doesn't really have a choice. The top 3, Beer, McCarris, and Green, they're all kind of nose to tail. They're nose air to tail. That's not allowing Malarkey to come down to the bottom, and he's not able to clear Beer either.
Down the front straightaway, here comes Malarkey to the line. Malarkey got him.
We just want to end the race now. That's as good of a finish as we're going to get.
Nah, we'll be fine. Beer down low, Malarkey up high, Beer out in front by about half a car length. Now here comes Beer rolling back on the outside with help from Dylan Wedgwood there, and that's 17. Right on board with the 38.
Looking back at the 65 of Scott McCarris, you see how misshapen that front bumper is. That's the biggest reason why you can't push. That thing is not straight. If you put that to the rear bumper of the car in front of you, they're not going to be lining up very well. There's no tessellation going on there. It's just going to be pushing and death at a terrible angle.
Double wide pretty much the entire way through the field. This is kind of what we expect out of these guys this early on. Yeah, just ride it out. And these guys aren't completely chicken here. They're willing to stay in line, work together, low side or high side. And Andrew Siegel, you talked about how he dropped to the back so early on. Well, he's now on the inside line back there. You see him. He's P12.
That's quite the comeback from Andrew Siegel, and he kind of proved me wrong because the draft is a lot stronger here than it is in the Cup cars. In the Cup cars, if you're like half a second behind somebody, you're losing the draft at Daytona. But here, he was like a full second back, and he made it back up in here. So good for Andrew Siegel. Good for him staying alive. Just kind of sitting in formation here. I worry that in a few laps' time, somebody's either going to forget the fact that you can't push or they're going to get impatient. And that's when problems are going to start to happen because I can't stress this enough. If you put the bumper to somebody here, you're probably not going to survive. So somebody's going to mess up one of these days. Hasn't happened yet, but somebody's got to do it.
Well, and of course, that just shows how awful the Cup package is on the service right now. 6 laps are complete. Dalton Beer continues to lead the way, but he's got Justin Malarkey lurking on the outside lines still with help from Dylan Wedgwood, although Wedgwood lost a little bit of time there getting into one, got a little too high.
trying to calculate who the biggest mover is at the moment. I think it is Siegel, because he started 17th, and now he's 10th. So that's 7 spots up, even with his endeavor to the back. So he's made 14 spots up, technically, but overall 7 spots up. He's the biggest mover at the moment. We'll see if he can maybe push his way forward a little bit further. He's at the back of the high line here. A little bit of a side draft from Justin Malarkey on Scott McCarris. Didn't do very much because Dalton Beard led that lap with the biggest margin he's had in quite a few laps.
Through one into here. 1 and 2. Bearer continues to lead the way on the inside line. Malarkey up top, getting a great push from Wedgwood. You saw Kundman kind of looking at the middle, but got back in line. As these guys aren't all over each other, really. They're giving each other plenty of room here, not risking any contact or any crashes.
Justin Malarkey, he's going to lead this one, I think. Yep, there he goes. Justin Malarkey to the top of your time sheets. He gets a lap under his belt. Dylan Wedgwood is quite helpful up there in the 17. So it's an interesting battle. Is Scott McCarris the better pusher with that cushion of air, or is Dylan Wedgwood the better pusher with a cushion of air? It appears that it's switching back and forth every single lap, so I couldn't tell you which one of these drivers is in a better position right now.
I'd argue Bearer on the bottom side, just because the bottom typically has the line that's better when you're at Daytona or you're at Talladega, but just have to wait and see.
Yeah, Highline's certainly working for Malarkey here. He's almost clear of Bearer across the line that time. Could not quite clear him. I do wonder if he does clear him, will he go down there to the bottom? Will he ditch his friend Wedgwood up there? Or will he just be happy to lead some laps? So we'll see. He had a great run that time. He's got a great run this time with Scott McCarris all over the place. This is great for the high line. Doesn't do it. He stays up there. He had his chance and he didn't go for it, so I think he's happy to be up there for now.
Yeah, he's just going to keep riding it out. As the top 10 are double wide, everybody else single file from 11th on back. 10 laps complete here at Daytona.
A little bit of a peek to the outside from Dylan Wedgwood. Wonder if he's already having some temperature issues in the cockpit there from pushing the 73 for so long. He takes a little bit of a peek to the high line to get some air on the nose, and that's not helping Malarkey, because he's going to fall back almost behind the 65. Now the push comes back to the high line, but I think temperatures might be getting a little bit high in some of these cars that aren't green and up front.
Well, and McCarris has not been pushing as aggressively as Wedgwood has. I think that could be part of the reason why you're seeing Wedgwood have to pull out of line to get air on the nose of the car, just because McCarris has been taking it easy compared to Wedgwood.
But again, the 73 clear of Dalton. He's completely clear of Dalton Beer. If he wanted to go to the bottom, that was a golden opportunity. And he waits for it, and then he goes for it. So he did end up going for it, but not as early as I would have thought. And Dylan Wedgwood led that lap, so Malarkey going down to the bottom, it didn't help him all that much. Maybe in the grand scheme of things it helps him, but Dylan Wedgwood is now the leader of the high line, and he's doing quite well up there. I think the high line might be the place to be in the Highline Racing League.
It's possible as we're closing in on math is hard. Half of 30 is 15. Half
57 to go.
Like 17. So we're almost a quarter of the way through this race. And now Malarkey is solidly out in front, and Wedgwood leads the top side. Got another Dodge behind him, and Kundman.
It's interesting the fact that we've got like these first 5 rows are double file, and then behind them, the other 14 cars in the race are all single file, so nobody else really able to form up like these leaders are. Couldn't tell you why that is. I wonder if they're just trying to ride in line here and avoid when inevitably these front 10 come to blows. They're going to have to start moving their way forward soon. Not right now, but sooner rather than later, I would think.
Still side-by-side for the lead. That inside line starting to fall apart, though. It's only a 3-man crew down there. And Malarkey, Beerer, and McCarris. Everybody else has kind of slid back and has gotten in that single-file pack behind them or joined the outside line.
Yeah, Scott McCarris, notably, is kind of losing these front 2. He was the pusher of the bottom line for the longest time, and now he's third in line, and I wonder if he just doesn't quite know what to do, because he's leaving quite a gap to Dalton Beerer. But even with that, the bottom line's still dominant with Justin Malarkey leading it, so I do wonder, maybe the high line isn't dominant, maybe Justin Malarkey was just dominant.
So 15 laps complete. Here's the onboard with Beerer. He's going to go to the outside line. He got a nice little run, and he's going to try and take it the distance. McCarris going to peek underneath. They're going to go 3 wide and split Malarkey. We'll be seeing you. He's going to fall to the middle and fall out of the lead. And now he's going to get pinched by Beerer. Going to fit in line behind McCarris. So McCarris will now lead the bottom side. Beerer leads the top side. It's a Chinese fire drill at the front at Daytona, and at the stripe, Beerer is going to lead the lap, or is he? Yes, Beerer got it. Just by, 3/1000ths of a second over Scott McCarris. Slow close.
Kendall Kerr was very nice to let Justin Malarkey down there. He didn't have to. And I think, honestly, he got on the brakes a little bit. I saw him clip the apron. And what in the world? Justin Malarkey pulls out of the drive. He's going all the way to the back.
I guess he thinks too aggressive. We'll be seeing you. Here comes Kundman. Thought about going 3 wide. I think he just needs some air. Trying to push Wedgwood to the front on the high side. Still side by side as Beerer got back down low. And Wedgwood will pick up the torch on the outside line.
I wonder if Justin Malarkey kind of predicted the future here. He saw drivers getting all over the place. They left him in the dust. Maybe he doesn't trust some of these drivers up here, but I don't see why he wouldn't, because they're looking just fine right now. Nobody's gone for any aggressive pushes. They've gone 3 wide, but nobody's pushing anybody, so it's an interesting move from Malarkey, and I'm not sure if it'll pay off.
He's still dropping back. Meanwhile, up front, Wedgwood clear for the lead down low. That'll put Kundman in charge of the outside line with Trevor Hook, and just like that, Andrew Siegel, third line on the outside.
Again, we lose a little bit of formation while they jockey around like this. Dylan Wedgwood takes the lead, but they were fanned out like a bunch of geese in a V formation coming to the line there. So I think that's what Justin Malarkey sees in these leaders. One of these days, one of these shuffles is going to end up with somebody driving into the wrong spot and getting themselves turned in front of the field.
Kundman goes up the hill big time, hangs onto it with Hook behind him.
Wedgwood kind of parking himself in the middle coming to the line that time, so that is a little bit worrying. He can't seem to hold the bottom. So if Dalton Beer gets a little bit impatient and gets to the bumper of him, that's going to be nighty-night for the 17. So he might have to start gluing himself down to the yellow line a little bit more.
Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. That 17 and the 38 now both clear to that outside line all by themselves. Kundman, that outside line just fizzling out, although here comes Beerer back to the high side. He wants to go for the lead once again. He's going to try and do it. At the stripe, he'll beat him. Down the back straightaway. Still side by side. Kundman looks out. Can't do anything. We'll get back in line. Wedgwood leads the bottom. Beerer leads up top.
Again, the shuffle of Beer taking the lead, then Kundman trying to figure out where to go. Everybody moving around quite a bit, but they don't seem out of control. So I would not be worried about the driving standards up front, but Justin Malarkey was a little bit worried. Some other drivers just hanging back for now. But things are looking good up front, if you ask me.
Kundman cleared the lead down low. And he will take the lead. Now 21 coming to 22 laps complete here from Daytona. We're going to step aside. We'll go side by side, but we'll come back. Potentially some green flag pit stops here in the Highline Racing League from Daytona. Stay with us.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
This is our series,
so many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
We're back here at Daytona. 23 laps are complete, 47 to go in the Highline Racing League, the highpoint.com Premier Series. 4 leaders, 10 lead changes. We have yet to see a caution. We've been rolling caution-free for these first now 24 laps. Alan Kundman, now your race leader. Dalton Beer fighting on that outside line, but he has not been able to get out in front of the 8 since Kundman took the lead right before he went to break.
It's been quite a calm race, which is not usually a word you use at Daytona, especially these ARCA cars at Daytona, but they've been switching, they've been mixing and matching who's leading the way, but there's been no sign of a potential accident. These guys have been incredibly well behaved. There's been about 17 different leaders, and every single one of them has done very well to not make any ill-advised pushes, not make any mistimed moves. They're all listening to their spotters. It's remarkable.
You're right on board with Andrew Siegel, who's in P9 right now, kind of bridging this lead pack with some of the cars behind him. As they come off the corner, Beerer and Kundman still side by side. Beerer with the run. Cannot quite get there. Kundman kind of side drafts him into the corner and will take the lead right back.
Now, something we're going to have to start thinking about in the near future is if we do go green the whole way, they can't make it on one tank of fuel, I don't believe. So we might have to make green flag, or we will have to make green flag pit stops. Everybody will. And they've been very well formed so far, but as we saw in the race earlier tonight at Talladega, green flag pit stops can cause some trouble. So we'll see if these guys can handle it any better, if they do have to make green flag pit stops.
They definitely will need to make pit stops, whether or not they're under green or not. We'll just need to wait and find out, pretty much. Trying to look here and see. I thought somewhere in the garage it told you on iRacing, but I guess not. Okay, well, thanks iRacing.
Alan Kundman up front is the first driver to maybe worry me a little bit, because he's trying to side draft Dalton Beer every time through the tri-oval, or Dalton Beer is trying to side draft him, whichever way it is. But they keep getting very close to each other in the tri-oval, and I worry that one of them is going to miscalculate it and run into the door of the other, and that's going to be when we run into trouble. They're looking good right now. They're leaving each other plenty of space. And then all the way back to these back three. Everybody just in line here.
Everybody's behaved themselves so far. We haven't even seen anybody get close to causing a wreck, which has been nice. So, 27 laps complete. Beerer and Kundman still side by side for the lead. The top 10 or so double file, and everybody else is single file behind them.
Patrick Green got a little bit high into one, but he stays in line. Everybody behind him was nice enough to let him stay third in line on the high line. Kendall Kerr up to the high line behind him. But again, you see Kundman there getting so close to the door of Beer into the corner. I guess he's just trying to get a little bit of a side draft, but he is playing with fire a little bit, getting that close. Wedgwood's trying to do the same thing. Kundman's doing the same thing this time, going up high. I don't know if that's doing much for him, other than maybe scaring Dalton Beer. And he's also got to be careful as we get into the latter stages of the race. He doesn't want to leave a hole open on the bottom for Dylan Wedgwood to wedge himself into. It's like, look at that. There's a full car length down there. If Dylan Wedgwood was a little bit less nice, he could go straight down there, and he could tell Alan Kundman to go bye-bye. But he didn't, and they slowed each other down, and that's why we have a new leader in Dalton Beer.
Yeah, so Beerer is going to be the one to tell Kundman to go bye-bye. He'll go to second. As Beerer retakes the lead, that means Hook will be on the outside line with Patrick Green and Kendall Kerr. Everybody else is down on the bottom of the racetrack, which I would imagine, since they're all getting closer and closer to the bottom, that means that we're probably going to see green flag stops in the next 5 laps. If they pit in 5 laps from now, they will be at halfway, and they should, I would imagine, be able to make it to the end. If they can make it past halfway on fuel, they will be able to make it to the end on just one stop. 30 laps complete. Beerer leads the way. Hook on the outside, trying to put something together. He gets close. He's definitely not going to be able to clear him into the corner.
I'm worried about Trevor Hook, because going through the tri-oval that time, he got very, very close to Alan Kundman's front bumper. So if these two get side by side here, they're worrying me a little bit. Luckily, Kundman is second in line. Ooh, Hook came very, very low again. So whether it's Kundman or Beer leading, I do worry that Alan Kundman going a little bit high, Trevor Hook going a little bit low. I worry that they might meet in the middle.
Kundman got a good run off the corner. He's going to jump up to the high side maybe. No, gets back in line with Beer. He thought about running up to the high side, but decided better of it, and now they're going to go 3 wide. Hook, I'm assuming he hit the wall. He's slowed down a ton. Patrick Green will take over the outside line. Kendall Kerr will take over second in the outside line, move Hook back to third.
Yeah, Hook didn't hit the wall originally, but I think he hit the wall avoiding everybody or trying to get out of the way. So I don't know why he slowed down so much, but that's going to be him back to third in line. And that'll be Patrick Green leading the high side in his second race of tonight. He's having better fortunes tonight, isn't he?
Patrick Green trying to roll the outside line and get to these guys as everybody's still within 4 seconds of the race leader. Toby Wedgwood 4 seconds behind, but everybody is in just one pack. It's just very strung out. The only really packed up part is this top 10. Other than that, everybody is spaced out almost evenly, single file. We got people in the back pitting just shy of halfway. Matt Owens, Dylan Petit, James McKee, Tyler Snyder locking it up, Dylan Batty, all coming onto pit road. So the window is open. They're pitting just shy of halfway. I'm not sure they'll be able to make it to the end. If they're pitting now, 2 laps shy of halfway, if they were really, really short, plus they were in the pack, so that likely they were saving fuel because they were having to lift.
The strategy game it's always a little bit of guesswork, especially on the plate track. So I'm assuming that if multiple drivers came in at the same time, there's got to be something.
Comes another.
Yeah, there's one of the leaders for the first time.
That's Boston.
Oh!
On pit road. Keeps it out of the wall. He's the only one to come on to pit road. So not only is he going to lose the draft because he's the only guy on pit road, he spins it out, getting to pit road under braking. That's really going to hurt him here.
Very unfortunate, and that just goes to show how difficult it is to get these cars slowed down from such a high speed. These things aren't really set up for braking. This is not a road course setup, so you're trying to wait until the last possible moment to get the car slowed down, but you're also trying to slow down while turning while on an oval setup. So it's not the easiest thing to do, and unfortunately for Adam Bossy,
Siegel is in. Kundman, Wedgwood. Oh, Wedgwood locked it up, got in the grass. Kress is on pit road. Bloom, last week's winner. Baker, Potter, Malarkey, Morash. Everybody gets on without any big incidents. Patrick Green continues to lead the way now. The top 5 bodies a lap down. The top 5 staying out on the racetrack in Green, Kerr, Hook, McCarris, and Beerer. I'd imagine they're going to come in this time.
I would imagine so too. I can't really see any real help in performing an overcut here, but it looks like Patrick Green might be doing it. No, all these guys
they're staying out. Somebody is coming onto pit road. That is Tyler Rush coming on for the first time. Wedgwood, Wheeler, and Morrissey also have yet to make their stops. They're 6th, 7th, and 8th right now on the racetrack. And everybody made it without incident except for Dylan Wedgwood. Dylan Wedgwood busted speeding. Dylan Wedgwood just left now, a 52-second pit stop. Dylan Wedgwood busted for speeding.
That's what happens.
Turn 4! Oh my goodness! Kendall Kerr got turned by Trevor Hook, and that almost watered him up. They're able to save it. Here comes Green. Here comes Kerr. Here comes McCarris. Those lap cars were evil. Oh, man, I think Patrick Green might have sped. I don't know who. Has anybody stayed out? Yes. Hook and Beerer have stayed out. They're mixed in with lap traffic. Then you got Morrissey, Wheeler, and Wedgwood, Toby Wedgwood, all by themselves. Everybody else in their box, let's see if they're in there for too long. Oh my gosh, Austin Bloom, what are you doing, pal? Oh! Petite. Yikes.
Dylan Poteet says car low over the radio.
Kerr, all three of them sped on pit road. Kerr, McCarris, Green, all three of them are in the box. All three of them sped getting onto pit road. That's going to cost them tremendously.
I don't even know who's left who didn't speed.
Well, about half the field. So Hook is the leader. Beerer is in second. Then Morrissey, Wheeler, and Toby Wedgwood. They all need to pit. Sixth on back have already pitted. So these guys, whenever they pit, they will be able to make it to the end. The only problem is they're probably not going to be with the lead pack. The leader, when this cycles out, is just in front of the race, the actual race leader, Dylan Petit. He sits P6.
Trevor Hook is showing...
Those are the people that got busted for speeding, finally leaving pit road. Here comes Morrissey, here comes Wheeler, here comes Wedgwood onto pit road. Are they going to make it? Yes. Oh, and Wedgwood spins it. I think he got the cone as well. That might be a penalty for him. Beerer and Hook continue to stay out. As we're closing in now, next time by, we'll have 30 laps to go.
Beerer and Hook are showing no interest in pitting because they're trying to work their way through this traffic. And they've been running on the high line this whole time, so they're showing no interest in pitting anytime soon. They're going to have to. I think Hook's going to come in this time because he's now on the bottom. Beer's with him, so they have to come in this time. It's an interesting strategy to stay out this long, and they've been helped by all this traffic. They've been in the pack. We'll see where they are if they pit.
They stay out. Penalty for Toby Wedgwood, by the way, so him hitting the cone did cost him. That's going to mean 6 drivers have had a penalty under this green flag cycle. Kerr, Green, McCarris, both Wedgwoods, and Adam Bossy are the 6 that have been busted for penalties on pit road. They're 3 wide here in front of the leaders for the moment. They got it straightened out. That's Dylan Wedgwood at their passing. Everybody is 1 lap down. They got a penalty. We have 15 on the lead lap. Ryan Potter didn't get a penalty, but he is a lap down for the time being. Once the leaders come on, it should cycle out, I think, for the most part with lappers. But Hook continues to stay out. 29 laps to go.
Time in pit lane for the majority of the drivers has been about 33 seconds. So looking at the gap between Beer and Morrissey, who's the leading driver who stopped, what in the world? Where'd Caleb Morrissey come from? I couldn't tell you, but it's 43 seconds. So Hook and Beer, this could be great for them. They might have found something good here, because 43 seconds back, 32 seconds in the pit lane. I can't believe that they'd be 11 seconds in the lead, but it's looking good.
Well, they'll be coming in next time by, according to the radio. So the battle for the lead right now is Petit and Caleb Morrissey here, right in front of these guys that you're looking at with 28 laps to go. It's a snarling pack here. Petit goes to the inside. He shuts the door on Kundman. Down the back straightaway, Dylan Petit leading the pack of those that will cycle to the lead when the leaders come onto pit road here, which should be this time by, and Beer and Trevor Hook. Field comes through 3 and 4. Let's go back and take a look at the leader, Trevor Hook, as he brings it off corner number 4. He's on the brakes. So is Beer, and they will bring it down to pit road. And they will not speed. They do a great job of bringing it onto pit road. So we'll see how they cycle out here and what they cycle out to, as we are 2 laps away from 25 to go. Hook is in his box now. Beerer was on pole, so he gets the last box. He's now there. Clock is rolling. Field's on the back straightaway here, with Petit leading the way. Hook is rolling. Hook is off pit road. Beerer is off pit road. Here comes the pack. 10 seconds behind. They're going to come through the tri-oval with 26 laps to go. And the pack should take over here. as the field comes through turn 1. Beerer on the apron getting up to speed. Hook got out in front of him. They're going to blow by Beerer off the corner. And oh my God, Hook almost got killed by Curran Green. He pulled up onto the racetrack right in front of 2 lappers, and Trevor Hook almost got the ass pack of the year.
He was trying to stay out of the way, but he kind of put himself in the way.
And here come the leaders now. They have to split the gap 3 wide. Oh, Morrissey up the middle. There's no room there, pal. Kunman pulls out. 3 wide with lappers either side. Never mind, Tyler Rush is on lapper. I'm sorry. He is on the lead lap. Oh, man. Chaos at Daytona. Coming to 25 to go this time by. Caleb Morrissey leading the outside line, but it's Dylan Petit leading the race.
And unfortunately for Dalton Beer, he's completely lost the draft. So this strategy's not worked out for him at all. It's worked for Trevor Hook. He's still up here. So Hook survived the overcut. Beer did not. And looking really good for Dylan Poteet and Caleb Morrissey, who have, by the way, come from 20th and 21st. Those are your leaders at the moment. And Scott Wheeler Jr. from 19th. And James McKee from 18th. So the drivers who started at the back of the grid, for the most part, have completely flipped this race on their head. They've moved their way all the way forward, and they can only hope that they can stay there for 25 more laps.
Just have to wait and see. Caleb Morrissey now clear for the race lead. So your pick, P1 in the 6 car.
James McKee through the middle. That's worrying. He's got no friends in the middle, so I don't know what he's doing in there, but hopefully he can fall to the back. Maybe find a gap under Scott McCarris. Yes, he does. He almost got turned by him through the tri-oval, but he does make it down to the bottom. Well done, James McKee. You've done so well to make it this far forward. Don't throw it all away now.
So most, if not all, these guys should be able to make it here to the end on fuel. So the question is now whether or not they make it without wadding them up.
They're certainly getting aggressive now, so they've been very well behaved. We've complimented them all race long for being so well behaved, but that's going to stop eventually. You're going to have to make your way to the front eventually. Alan Kunman leaving the massive holes on the bottom. He's the one I worry about the most. With about 2 to go, somebody sending it in there. Kunman coming down and killing everybody, but he's not the only one. There's been drivers like James McKee who've been sticking it through holes in the middle that haven't really been necessary. I don't know. There's still a lot of time left in this race for things to go wrong, and we'll see. We'll see if anybody can make their way forward before anything bad happens.
We'll find out. Everybody holding their line for now. As they come up off the corner again, everybody doing just fine. With 22 to go at the line.
Justin Malarkey wants to get back to the front here, but he can't drive through Caleb Morrissey. He needs to work with him. Morrissey drove almost against the wall through 1 and 2, and I think Malarkey thought about trying to sneak down onto the bottom or through the middle. He didn't do it. He was nice, but Caleb Morrissey is leaving lanes open, and he chooses not to go to the bottom in front of Poteet, which is interesting. Clearly, he thinks the high line's the place to be right now because he's completely clear of Poteet, and he's not going down there. Maybe he wants to bring Malarkey with him.
20 to go next time by. Malarkey up high. You've got the 6 of Morrissey leading this thing up on that outside line, and then you got Dylan Petit down on the inside line, closing in on lap traffic just up the road in Jeff Morash, who really the best spot for him would be the apron just because they're double wide, and this track is not wide enough to handle a slow car in a 3-wide situation.
But they're going to have to handle it because that's what's going to happen here. He goes high, which is a decent place to go. It's as good of a place to go as you can. But this is worrying. There's plenty of room. They'll be fine. He puts himself in the wall to get out of the way.
He's stuck against the wall.
You know, that's one way to get out of the way.
Bold strategy, Cotton, and he's just going to fall back and fall off the pace. And yeah, we'll be seeing you, Jeff Morash. 20 to go. 3 wide. Here comes Patrick Green up the middle. That's going to put Rush in the wall.
And he got loose trying to get off the wall.
Oh, and that's going to push. Here comes Green storming up the middle. He's going to try and get underneath Morrissey. Morrissey slams the door on him. Remember, Patrick Green is a lapper. Trying to get back on the lead lap the hard way, and Morrissey's going to tell him no.
Well, that takes the cake for the scariest moment of the race, but they made it through. Thanks to the heroics of, I've already forgotten him. He's already been lapped. Jeff Morash, that's who it was. Patrick Green, a great move through the middle, and Tyler Rush, he got a little bit stuck against the wall, and then he steered back down. He got loose because of these sticky walls. Luckily, he saved it, didn't spin across the field, but it seems like that's broken up the pack a little bit. Oh, Gunman.
Gunman up the gut for the lead. As Andrew Baker, they lap. And Kunman is clear down low. He takes it. What a move from Andrew Kundman.
Alan Kunman.
Alan Kunman. Yeah, you're right. I'm getting every name wrong tonight. Jesus Christ. Kunman leads.
He found a hole and he went for it. He said, I'm Kunman through. And he succeeded. That's the kind of move that we haven't really seen anybody willing to make yet, because we saw Caleb Morrissey get clear of Poteet in the bottom, and he didn't go down to the bottom. He thought the bottom was the place to be, but Kunman clearly disagrees. He saw a hole, he saw an opportunity with the lap car, and he went for it, and because of that, he's got the lead. So I think that's going to inspire some other drivers to kind of stop sitting back in line here. There's still 17 laps to go, but Alan Kunman clearly thinks now's the time to make the move.
17 laps to go. Kunman leads the way. How about Scott Wheeler Jr. sitting in P4 there, third on the inside line in the Kurt Busch car? The numbers facing the right way. Maybe the numbers facing the wrong way. It was bad luck for him. Because here he is inside the top 3 now, fighting for third. And that thing's looking strong up there.
It is all the way from the back, so I think a bad qualifying. Well, actually, it wasn't even a bad qualifying because Poteet didn't set a lap, Wheeler didn't set a lap, Morrissey didn't set a lap in qualifying, and neither did James McKee. So qualifying, they didn't even give us a chance to see their qualifying 1 lap speed, and we're just seeing their race speed here, and it's quite good.
Outside line kind of falling apart a little bit here, so Petit is clear on the high side if he wants it. He thought about it. He'll stay down low, though. Here comes Morrissey with a bit of a run on the high side. Not quite going to get there, though. They'll stay single file for the top 2. 15 laps to go. Here comes Petit, up the outside line. He'll pick up Morrissey. He'll try and get back to the front. Has a great push into the corner. And is he clear down low? No. Have to try it again.
Morrissey's getting very close to the back of the 0-1 of Poteet. He can't bump, but Morrissey is getting as close as you possibly can to bumping. Oh, it's worrying. I don't think Caleb Morrissey's really been pushing anybody.
Here comes another lapper. That is Toby Wedgwood. He's going to get out of the way up on the high side. Plenty of room. Everybody should get through without an issue. 14 to go. Kundman leads at the line barely. And they head back to turn number 1. Petit still trying to get that outside line to roll. Kundman trying to hold on down on the bottom.
He's doing the thing again where he runs a whole lane up from the bottom. And if this was the last lap, I think Scott Wheeler Jr. would have had his nose underneath Kundman there. So he's got to be careful. I wonder if he'll learn his lesson before the last lap, because I don't think running in the middle is a very safe place to be. Again, there's a whole car length below him, and you don't even have to go below the yellow line to get under him. So I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by running there, but it's leaving him very open.
Through 1 and 2 they go. New fastest lap belonging to Matt Owens, who's in 12th right now. So the draft doing wonders for him. The pack starting to stack up a little bit. Here comes Rush up the middle, 3 wide, trying to get by Malarkey, who's just going to give way and drop all the way to the back of the pack here. As Kundman continues to lead us around. We've been caution-free up to this point. 12 laps to go here from Daytona. That was Wedgwood bouncing.
McCarris.
Goes to 65. That's McCarris. There is no caution. He's going to go down, hit the inside wall. He takes. That's the 27 of Adam Bossi with him. We do stay green. It's a 2-car crash. Now this whole pack has to get it back together here. Kundman continues to lead the way. 11 laps to go. That's the second spin for Bossi on the night. And I don't think they're done wrecking yet, because you got Tyler Rush shoving it up the middle here.
McCarris and Bossi were both a lap down, so it doesn't really affect anything. They weren't fighting for the win, but they're both gone, and that was... We can't see a replay right now because so much is going on up front, but they bumped, and they both lost it. So that's what happens when you bump. They learned their lesson. The rest
of the Tyler Rush, please. He's going to go up the middle again. Almost turns Morrissey. Up the hill goes Petit. He got pushed wide by Kundman. Here comes Morrissey up the middle. 3 wide for a second. All alone is Petit out in front. Kundman out in front. Petit fits back in line, 3rd on the outside line. Here comes Morrissey with a big run. 10 laps to go at Daytona. Morrissey side by side for the lead with help from Tyler Rush. Rush has been pretty aggressive in getting into that position, shoving up the middle a couple of times. Lap traffic ahead, it's Dalton Beerer, who was the leader of this race at one point. He's about to get lapped for the first time. Remember, he lost the draft when they came off pit road. As we have 10 to go down the back straightaway, side by side for the lead, Kundman and Morrissey. And it looks like Beerer going to go up to the wall. Everybody gets by. As here they come, 9 to go as they come towards the start-finish line here. Kundman leads on the bottom with help from Scott Wheeler. Morrissey trying to do everything on the outside line. He needs some more help. Just can't quite get there.
Good on Beer for getting out of the way. He's definitely not going to be very happy that he had to get out of the way because he was fighting for the win. Now he's a lap down. But he does get out of the way. Now he's just going to try and tag on to the back of this pack, so he can maybe get a lucky dog. If we go yellow here in the near future, that would be good for him. Kundman again running that pseudo middle line, and Caleb Morrissey as well is struggling to hold a line. So these two leaders, I think that's part of the reason why we're packed so close together, because they both can't seem to run a singular line.
Well, and Beerer wouldn't even get the free pass. It'd go to Kendall Kerr in the 21. He's the first car lap down in this lead pack. So he'd need to get back in front of that yellow 21 that you see there, fourth in line on the outside line. You got 8 laps to go. Kunman clear on that outside lane. Clear of that outside lane. He can pretty much go wherever he wants to go now. Channel the 8 number here, do some junior blocking. Perhaps as James McKee gets slung out of line. Got some contact from Beerer. That's a lapper getting into a lead lapper. McKee not happy about it over the radio. Remember, McKee won at Las Vegas earlier this year, the first race of the season. They come off the corner, 7 to go.
And again, we're seeing the consequences of the bump, and that was quite the bump from Dalton Beer, if I must say. He does have something to fight for. He's trying to fight for that lucky dog position, so James McKee might not think that he's fighting for the lead, so he should stay out of it, but he does have his own thing to fight for here, so I can't blame him for getting aggressive, but it almost had disastrous consequences.
Down the back straightaway. Kunman continues to lead the way. But here comes Morrissey with the run on that outside line. That's going to be the 72 of Rush hitting the wall. He's going to lose a ton of time. Make Petit second on the outside line. Coming to 6 laps to go. Tyler Rush, we'll be seeing you once again. Kunman continues to lead. Lap traffic up ahead in Morash again. They also have some more lap traffic just up the road in Adam Bossi, who spun it twice and has some damage on that thing from the last wreck. Down the back straightaway. Petit trying to help Morrissey. They're just too far back at this point. They have a run, but Kunman going to be able to hold on. They bring it through 3 and 4. They'll get 5 laps to go here at the start-finish line. We have not had a caution yet. And we're getting down to the end of this deal, and that's where the intensity typically seems to pick up here. There goes Bossi. See you later. The lapper gets out of the way off pace. Here comes the outside line, and Morrissey again, just about even. Can't get too far, though, as the 8 surges ahead through 3 and 4. Coming back with 4 laps to go. It just seems like that outside line can't really gel together at this point.
Yeah, Caleb Morrissey, he's been happier being pushed than pushing, but unfortunately Dylan Poteet, who's been leading quite a bit of the way, doesn't seem to be quite as comfortable getting that air to the back of the number 6. Scott Wheeler, meanwhile, has kind of mastered the art of pushing without actually pushing, as Tyler Rush almost gets in the wall again. He's playing with fire up there. Kunman, interestingly, had to walk back down to the bottom, so he's not running as he used to.
So Body just hit it off the wall and all that for it. Tyler Rush is mad at Matt Owens, even though Tyler Rush has kind of been a liability on the racetrack tonight. He's been all over the place. I don't know why he's complaining, but we're coming to 3 to go. Kunman continues to lead the way. He hasn't really faced much of a challenge here in the last couple of laps. Gotta wonder if it's time to shuffle up that outside line here, because it's just not going anywhere. They gotta try something different in order to get that 8 out of the lead. Maybe if Scott Wheeler can get clear, he'll think about jumping up there. But for right now, he's staying tucked underneath the 8 as they come down the back straightaway, coming to 2 to go. Now the Rush back up the middle with help from the 12 of Matt Owens. That is the 12 as he's going to get big crash in turn 3, and Tyler Rush sits it off, and the caution flag's out. Oh, a big hit. McKee. Siegel involved. There are no faster pairs. Tyler Snyder is around. Trevor Hook, Matt Owens. I think Dylan Wedgwood, rather. And I talked about Rush. He wasn't happy with somebody. He goes in for an aggressive move up the middle, starts the big wreck, and we're going to overtime. 2 green-white checkers at our disposal.
Rush was just in a rush, we must say. He was getting aggressive. He was worried about whoever that other lap car was, and he wanted to make his way to the front. He was frustrated, and unfortunately the rest of the field paid dire consequences when he got a little bit impatient through the middle. Here it is. He clipped Dylan Wedgwood first. He drove up into, well, actually Wedgwood came down. So honestly, I would put quite a bit of the blame on that, quite a bit of the blame on Wedgwood for that, because while Rush was getting aggressive through the middle, it was Wedgwood who came down about half a lane, touched the rear of Rush, and then brought him up into Kendall Kerr. So should Tyler Rush have been in the middle right there and running about a lane up?
Yes, but I mean, the 17 is following the guy in front of him here too. And you saw the 72 kind of just wobble there in the middle. He went down and then came back up. He couldn't hold the line.
Yeah, Rush didn't really make it very easy for Wedgwood. So even though he did come down a little bit,
yeah, look at that.
You can see he came up as well.
Yeah, he did a weeble wobble,
McKean's
and half the field winds up wrecked.
Dalton Beer here. Did he make it through?
Beer, I think so. Beer is the free pass, so yes, Beer did make it through. Yeah. He's going to sneak through right on the bottom.
Oh, look at that. That was not our brakes, that was actual brakes.
Malarkey made it through there as well, so he'll have a shot at this. He is on the lead lap. He'll be P8 on the restart.
So who's left? Kundman's left. Wheeler, Morrissey, Bloom, Poteet, Kress. Looks like we've got about 13 cars left. Maybe 12, maybe 10. On the lead lap, I should say.
Sounds about right.
Honestly, my underdog pick here would be Beer now. He's back on the lead lap. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to be making Tyler Rush moves through the middle. The question will just be, can he survive, and can the field survive if everybody's going to be making aggressive moves here?
All right, so field crosses the stripe here. I hope the lights go out here, and they do, so we only have one lap until we get back to green. Remember, green-white checkers, so if they make it to the white flag, the next flag ends the race, even though really they just race it back. If they crash before the white flag, we do it again. We only have 2 attempts.
So we're all stacked up here.
Yep.
I do wonder if this will be the last green-white checkered.
I would imagine so, just because of the fact that it takes them almost a full lap to get up to speed, and unless they crash early, I think they're going to be able to keep it rolling here, but we'll find out. So here we go. Field coming through 3 and 4. Into the restart zone they will go. Kundman, Scott Wheeler on the front row for the restart. Then it's Morrissey, Bloom, Poteet, the top 5. Green flag. Let's see what happens. This is for the win. Race number 4 here from Daytona. Kundman's off to the races. Looks like he might be clearing that outside line as they come down through turn 1. And he is clear up high and down low, so Kunman can forge his own destiny. That outside line not put together well at all. Here comes Morrissey up to the high side, maybe. Yes, he will. He'll pick up the 97 of Wheeler as they come down the back straightaway. Coming to the white flag, Caleb Morrissey goes to the lead. Down the back straightaway. Morrissey is clear down low. The 97 is not quite clear down low in Wheeler. Where does Morrissey go here? Looks like he's going to go to the bottom, and he will. Coming to the white flag. So Morrissey now controls this.
Oh!
He collects Bloom. Big crash again off turn 4. They're still spinning. That's Potter through the grass, and we'll go to the second overtime. Caleb Morrissey gets turned around. Toby Wedgwood gets demolished. Another car involved. Adam Bossy slides it again. I think Patrick Green may have had a piece of it, not entirely sure. But Caleb Morrissey gets the worst end out of it and gets turned into the outside wall coming off turn 4.
Those bumpers just do not interlock, and I feel terrible for Caleb Morrissey because he did nothing wrong there. He brought it down. He brought it into the lead, and unfortunately, Alan Kundman just a little bit too impatient, and he didn't want Caleb Morrissey in the lead, and he took care of him.
And then he gets hit again here. Here comes Wedgwood. Gets punted by Bossy. Oh, my gosh. A lot of big hits tonight. Another angle. He just hits him right there in the right rear, and it's enough to just turn him into the outside wall. Nowhere for the 3 to go, and Bloom. Such a shame for him, although Bloom still able to keep rolling even after that hit. He's the one that comes down into Potter and turns him around. And then they slam into Morrissey in the background. So Wedgwood is out. Bossy is still on pit road with Morrissey. Looks like Bloom is going to stay out there, and Bloom's car isn't all that torn up, actually, so he didn't hit as hard as I thought he did. Classic iRacing. But Kunman is the race leader.
And you saw right there, if we can watch that again, you can see exactly what caused the accident. It wasn't just Kunman putting the bumper to the back of the 6. Watch him. He comes down here. Morrissey comes down here. Kunman doesn't put the bumper to him, but critically, he goes high. He gets out of line as he's been doing pretty much all night. And then as he tries to come back down, he swipes across the rear bumper, and that's what turns him. So unfortunately, Alan Kunman, he's been struggling to stick that car to the bottom, and unfortunately for Caleb Morrissey, he was the whatever the opposite of a beneficiary is of that. So that would worry me if I'm every other driver up here. Alan Kundman, you need somebody to be holding their line if they're behind you. You don't want them to be swiping your rear bumper and turning you into the outside wall. So that might impact some drivers' judgments here. Do you come down in front of Alan Kundman? Maybe not. Maybe you stay up high.
Well, I think that was really the only option there, because if you didn't come down in front of him, he would have passed you anyway. So one lap to green. This is the last restart. So Kunman and Wheeler will be on the front row here again. It's Petit and Bloom, 3rd and 4th.
Still a remarkably large amount of cars left for the 2 large wrecks that we've had. That's double digits up there still.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't have a caution until the last 5 laps, and since then we've taken out almost half the field in those crashes. So things came together pretty quick here. And for the second race of the row for us tonight, we're going to overtime. Even though this is overtime attempt number 2, but This is it. No more after this. We're done. So,
would not be a good end to the night if we finish this doubleheader, this restrictor plate doubleheader on a caution, on a yellow flag finish. So let's finish under green, guys. If you're listening, let's do it, please.
yeah, seriously, that would be good. So here we go. Coming through 3 and 4, Kunman, Wheeler, Petit, Bloom, Kress, Snyder, Malarkey, Owens, Hook, Beer are your top 10. There are 12 on the lead lap, including Patrick Green, who is the 12th one. He just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap. Everybody else is a lap down or not on the racetrack. So here we go. Green flag. Kunman and Wheeler bring us down. Restart. This is it. The last chance to win the race in the HighPoint.com Premier Series, race number 4 from Daytona. Kunman, another great restart with help from Petit. Pushes him out ahead. Clear of Wheeler again. Second verse, same as the first. This time, Petit is a lot closer this time, and he's almost clear to that outside line. I think he may try and jump up there if he can, kind of like what Morrissey did last time by. Does not have the room down the back straightaway. Still has Wheeler to his outside. Side by side, down the back straightaway. Kunman gets moved up the racetrack by Petit. A bad bump. Here comes Wheeler, shot out of a cannon. He edges out in front in turn 3. Side by side for the race lead. Kunman not quite down on the yellow line. You got Wheeler just up top, coming off turn 4. This will be the white flag. Looks like they are going to make it for the most part. Coming to the line, white flag. Kunman's going to beat him at the line by a tire. This is the last lap, the final attempt. Through turn 1 and 2. Wheeler on the outside. Kunman pushes him up the racetrack a little bit. Now gets it back down to the bottom. Here comes the 33. Watch out for Tyler Snyder. They're going to go 4 wide. Around goes Austin Bloom. Most of the pack going to get involved. We got 5, 6 cars left as they come screaming down the back straightaway. Kunman gets turned by Petit. Wheeler gets clear for the race lead. He's clear of Petit. Now what will Petit do? It's going to be 2 on 2. You got Malarkey right behind. Oh, I'm not sure who that is because scoring's not refreshing, but here they come through 3 and 4 on the outside line. That's Brad Kress. What can he do with help from Malarkey? Wheeler down low with the advantage from Petit. Here comes Malarkey up the middle, side by side at the finish line. It's going to be, I think, Scott Wheeler. And it is a tie.
0.000.
Scott Wheeler wins this race by a hair. And he does actually beat him to the line. I think we'll need to look at this a couple of different ways. I think Wheeler got it. Maybe. They are almost dead even at the line. I don't know. This could get reversed. We've seen iRacing screw up scoring before. But it just cut the trophy in half. It's easier. Scott Wheeler, I think, is the winner.
I think Scott
All
Wheeler.
he needed to do is flip those stupid roof numbers, and he's going to victory lane.
Exactly. He fixed that. That was the key. But I was just going to say, if Brad Kress pulled that off, like, where did he come from? Did we say the
Here's
name
the
Brad
replay.
Kress once tonight?
No, we didn't. I forgot he was even here. I had no idea who was in that outside line. Here is the last restart. This is turn 2 on the last lap. You saw the field wrecking behind. You're going to see Kunman get turned here. Petit just sticks it in there and turns him. These things happen. But they're going to keep rolling. Oh. I mean, barely. Scott Wheeler wins this race. Here they come off the corner. A great run here. Side job, side draft. Malarkey giving the push to Kress. But in the end, I'm giving this to Wheeler barely. I mean, that is a close finish. If you go by the back of the cars where the transponder is, I'm still giving it to Wheeler, but it's even closer.
Yeah, the door was the key
Wheeler
there.
should win this race.
The door was the key. I think if Scott Wheeler didn't go up and door Brad Kress, I think Kress would have won it, but he was able to slow him down just that like millimeter enough that he needed. And yeah, Scott Wheeler, definitely the winner. There might be a ton of zeros. Look, there's a 1. How about that? So even more justification.
Wild finish here at Daytona. Once again, just a malarkey, top 3, not a win. P3. The legend continues for poor Justin Malarkey.
And the rest, the used car lot, McKee, Body, McCarris, the whole gang. Lots of drivers ran into trouble, but no trouble at all for Scott Wheeler. Maybe a little bit of trouble. He'd had cars wrecking around him the whole time, but he made it through both of those pileups we had. They happened right in front of him. He made it through. Brad Kress made it through from who knows where. It was maybe the finish of the season, but we got a lot of races to go.
Let's fly through this here. So Wheeler, Kress, Malarkey, Petit, Hook, Snyder, Greenbloom, Kunman, Owens, your top 10. Potter, Beer, Baker, Kerr, Dylan Wedgwood, Morash, Siegel, Morrissey, Rush, Bossy, Toby Wedgwood, the top 20. The McKee, Body, McCarris, Ramirez, who didn't start. Those are your 25. Let's talk to P3 here with Joey, Justin Malarkey.
Well, Mr. Malarkey, unfortunately, you weren't part of that photo finish up front, but you did bring it home P3. It was a bit of a wild race, and we had green flag pit stops of all things. So how was it for you tonight?
Nice to stay caution-free pretty much for the first 60-some laps. It was good for me. I in the beginning was doing really well, just didn't want to be 2-3 wide when they got 2-3 wide early on, so I kind of just dropped to the back to try and preserve the car, and figured I'd work my way up through the pit stops, and it all worked out.
It certainly did. Top 3 finish. The main story of today was the fact that you can't bump at all in these cars, which is a big part of restrictor plate racing, but we saw with a couple of drivers, if you get the bumper, you're basically dead. So how did you approach this race knowing that you couldn't really bump anybody? It was a different kind of racing.
Yeah, the cars, they get such a big run on the people in front of you. Either you got a couple options. You got to lift, which no one wants to do. You got to either hit them and pray you don't spin them, which no one wants to do. Or you really got to drag the brake. You got to get really down there on dragging that brake and stay glued to their bumper. I was able to do it for about 3 or 4 laps, pushing at 6, and had the car temps pegged. Didn't want to blow it up, so I started backing off a little bit, but I was hoping he dropped to the bottom so I could get some fresh air, but it didn't work out, so I needed to drop there a little bit with about 15 to go to cool the engine off. But other than that, it all worked out. I was able to get back up there. It was definitely crazy for a while.
Yeah, and coming to the finish there when Wheeler and Kress were kind of beating and banging across the line, do you think you might have a shot coming out of turn 4? Do you think it was down to them two?
Well, I knew all the momentum got screwed up on the back straightaway with all the spin outs and bumping and accidents. So I just was trying to pick the car that had the most momentum, and I was hoping the 47 was going to, I think it was a silver 47. I was hoping he was going to be able to side draft a little more off the car in front of me and slow him down. And then I was hoping maybe coming out of 3, I could swing to the outside with momentum, but it didn't work out. But I mean, at least was able to get a third. I thought I was going to be second for a second there. That would have been funny. But it just all worked out. I mean, these tracks are just all luck. There's so many times I'm upside down here, so I'm glad to not be upside down.
Well, congrats on your third again tonight. Maybe next week will be the week that you finally get the win in. And you have anybody you want to thank? Maybe they'll be able to help you out with a win next week.
The person who won the Powerball, because he seems to have all the luck. So I would like to have him if we're at Talladega next week.
Well, we'll see if we can get him on the line for you. I think we might be able to. But the man who thinks he might have won the Powerball tonight, he won the race by who knows what fraction of a second, was Scott Wheeler. So I believe we're going to get Scott Wheeler in here momentarily, and I think, Jake, you're going to talk to Mr. Wheeler, who turned his numbers around just for you.
Yes, race winner Scott Wheeler. We kept talking about his roof numbers. He changes his roof numbers. He wins the race. How about that? What a finish.
That was insane. I don't think I've ever seen a finish that close. But yeah, I figured it's probably time to change the number back. It was fun while it lasted. I enjoyed getting the laughs from you guys. But yeah, that was crazy. My teammates really helped me there, giving me the calls I needed. I tried to get Caleb there up front first, but that's just restrictor plate racing, I guess. You have to just go with the flow.
Take us through those last couple laps. What was running through your mind there? You had Cress on the outside line. You were hoping that, Petit had already turned somebody down the back straightaway. You were just hoping that you could keep that momentum on your side to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Alan had lost it right when we restarted on the backstretch, and then he was there. And I was just trying to keep the momentum up there, try to block a 3-wide lane, keep it as close to Alan as possible. And then I heard he got spun down low. I had Caleb in my ear saying, get low, get low, get low. And I got in front of Dylan, and I saw Brad and Justin coming up pretty fast, but had the momentum coming off the bottom, but then they carried it, obviously, off the top on the corner, and then my only hope was really to push it up the track. So definitely didn't want to cause a huge wreck at the end, but for a finish like that, I think it's worth it.
Well, congratulations on the win, and of course, we'll see you at a racetrack to be determined next week. Best of luck to you throughout the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Just want to thank my teammates as well. They pull through every week, and it's awesome racing with them and this whole group of guys. So you guys do a great job as well.
Scott Wheeler, race winner tonight from Daytona. Now, second place finisher, Brad Kress. Joey, take it away.
Well, Mr. Brad Kress, I don't think you would blame us for saying that we didn't really see much of you tonight until the very end.
Yeah.
My question would be, where the heck did you come from?
Man, I was just trying to stay out of trouble, keep my nose clean, and then at the end, when everyone started wrecking, I mean, it was go time from there, so I just kept my foot in it.
You certainly did keep your foot in it. It was almost a dead heat of the line. Were you leaning forward in your chair trying to get that extra couple thousand?
Yeah, I think I was. I pushed my pedals up a couple inches farther, too, because I was trying to push the gas pedal as hard as I could.
Well, it was a tough race tonight, but you made it through. You survived all the accidents.
Yeah,
there were a couple close calls. What were you thinking coming in tonight? Were you expecting the long green flag run that we had, or were you expecting a little bit more chaos?
No, I thought it would be a little more chaotic. These super speedway tracks, they're really not my cup of tea. I'm usually involved in a couple of wrecks, but I was just trying to keep my nose clean, and I thought if I'm going to get wrecked, at least I'm going to try to go for it.
Yeah, I'd say it worked out for you.
Yeah, it worked pretty good tonight.
Yeah, but maybe next week you'll be on the winning end of that dead heat. We'll see what happens. You have anyone you want to thank before we kick you out of here?
Yeah, man, I want to thank highpoint.com for coming on board with us, Body Shop, SP Designs, and the Racing Warehouse, and you guys put on a heck of a show. Yeah, I go back and watch these replays of these races every week, and you guys are doing a heck of a job.
Well, thank you very much, and your check will be in the mail shortly for complimenting us like that.
Yes, sir.
Brad Kress, second place finisher by the very, very, very small unit, and hopefully his name will be in the iRacing top 10 next month.
Probably a can of Coors Light. Hey, Zach had a clip make the top 10 from like this past month. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's got the ins, so.
Yeah, twist some arms and threw that in there. But what a night. It's been a long night. A bad race at Talladega with a bad package and good race car drivers. And then we had this thing where we kept it green for 65 laps, and then everything went to hell in the last 5 laps, 2 overtimes later, and we had a photo finish. So a rough start, but we were able to bring it home in one piece. Indeed we were, and
I had fun on both of them. It was a terrible package at Talladega, but I'd say we made it work, and then here the chaos and drama finally came. We finally had a somewhat interesting race. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at Dalton Beer on your screens right now. None of those wheels are pointing in the right direction. Oh my goodness.
A lot of camber on those. But I want to get the hell out of here and go to bed, so that's it for us tonight. We'll see you Core on Thursday over on the Core YouTube page, and then we're back with this a week from tonight. Till then, for Zach Johnson, our producer, and Joey Tabbitt, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Good night.